Morning, guys. BP back here, and well, you saw me yesterday. The darn thing shut off, right? Well, it ain't shutting off. It started flowing again, the bastard. So we got ourselves a friggin' kit. We're gonna tear this sucker apart, lift the rod out of the stand pipe, and maybe it needs new shut-off O-rings and whatnot on the bottom end of her. So that's what's in store here for right now. So I'm gonna put you away. I'm gonna get to tearing this sucker apart. I'll bring you back in a little bit. Alrighty, well, we've encountered a problem. So got a bunch of our parts off over here. Got the big pipe wrenches, cranked the head off, and, well, there's the head. Now you can see this long rod. What is that, 8 foot, 9 foot, 10 foot rod? Well, right here, there's supposed to be, well, I'll rip the bag open, I'll show you guys. So like a rubber that's supposed to be in there. So basically what happened was when I screwed, there, let's do this again, the rubber stopper, and when I screwed the head off, I screwed the goddamn rubber stopper out of here. It's like this. See there? That goes on there like that. Now, there's one inside that standpipe. Now, how the heck are you going to get that sucker out of there, right? I've got a thought. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I got to wait for the wife to get home so she can turn the water on in the yard, because all of our water system, the whole goddamn works of it for everything, the whole farmyard, the house, everything, all of the shut-off valves are in the basement of our house. And so the plan is to have her turn the water on, and hopefully that'll blow that rubber stopper out of there now that there's no handle holding it down. That's the idea. Anyway, she had to run to town for a few minutes to deal with the son's dog. So she'll be back right away, and that's what we're gonna attack. We'll bring you back at that time. Anyway, guys, the wife just got home, and I would really like to show you how this is gonna pan out with turning the water on and blowing that rubber stopper out of there. But we're gonna be on the phone back and forth with each other, so I'm not gonna be able to. My phone won't allow me to record a video and talk on the phone at the same time. So I gotta let you go. Talk to you later. Well, God dang it, the rubber stopper never came out. So now we've got a bit of a dilemma on our hands. And I think I've only got one of two choices. One, run this rod back down the hole and hope to hell I can hook that rubber stopper with that threaded rod threaded on there and lift it out, because that just goes on there like that, right? Watch me drop this sucker down there. So it just goes down the hole like that, and that's how it's sitting there. So it should be sitting pretty straight up and down. If I can get that rod down that hole and centered. So let's see what happens. This is going to be a two-handed job. Talk to you later. Alrighty. So I threaded this piece here. I ran it back down the tube. I believe I've got it threaded on. I got it threaded on something. Then I threaded the head back on to this rod here. Now all we got to do is pull up and see if we got it. Let's see what happens, guys. See if I could do this with one hand. More or less one hand. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? It's like fishing in the dark with the right finger. Woo! We got her out. But that sucker really doesn't look all that bad, does it? Here, get you back on here. Like, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with him, right, guys? I don't understand why he's not shutting off properly. It should shut off really without too much grief, really. It should just squash. When you push it down, it should just squash down, expand the rubber onto the pipe, and that's, from what I understand, more or less what shuts the water off, water flow off. And then it should also shut the water off, because this is supposed to be a frost free. So, but maybe he's a little bit buggered. I'll put a new one on the end here and we'll go from there. Come back to you guys in a bit. Alrighty, so here we are in the shop again. So I want to get this sucker off of here, but he's tight as all heck. And not wanting to move very well. I want to make sure that this rod, which on the underside you can see it's threaded, well, it threads into the long stand rod that goes through the pipe. I want to make sure that he's going to spin freely in there, and I can't hardly move him. So we got to get some wrenches on here and get this freed up so that it'll work better. Back in a bit. Alrighty, so had it in the shop, got the rod out, cleaned that all up, got new O-rings in here. There's 2 O-rings that go in there. This stop here is new. Got it all rethreaded into the shaft down here. I do have a crack, if you see it. I don't know if you guys will be able to make that out or not, but there's a little bit of a crack right there. But I don't think that's going to cause me much of an issue, because the water shuts off at the bottom, right? Not the top. So theoretically, all we got to do now is run the sucker back down the pipe and see if put it together and see if it's going to work. Let's see what happens here. Back to somewhat of a two-handed job. I'll thread this guy back down onto there. Go with that. And chickens are making a ruckus behind me here. Guys, I'm going to let you go so I could use 2 hands here. We'll talk later. Alrighty, so here's what we got going on now. I just phoned the wife, told her to turn the water on. There's nothing coming out of it. That's a plus. Put it all back together, back here. You see all this stuff is back together. Tighten this down. And let's try her. Oh yeah. We got ourselves water. How about that? Hey guys, I got a phone call. I think I might be hauling. Back in a bit. Okay, I'm back, guys. So the potential, back this up a bit. Potential haul that I had is not gonna happen. I do have a haul. I'm going to Saskatoon tomorrow for a different company, not Anlin. Anlin's my big customer that I deal with. But anyways, see how dirty that is? That's what our water direct from the well is like. That's how rusty it comes out. So it's almost like every couple years we're dealing with these standpipes because they corrode up so bad. I got one at the barn that the pipe, I think, rotted off at the bottom or corroded off because the whole pipe is turning. And I don't think it should be turning like that. And we just put it in maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And then, of course, I went and built a little tiny, like a water room building around it. And so tearing it apart is going to be a bit of an issue. But this is what we got going on. Look at that. Cleaning out the lines, getting the rust out of the lines. That's terrible, eh? Don't it just make you want to grab a glass and have some? I'll tell you, I'll call it whiskey. Dark whiskey. What'd I tell you when I said we got rusty water? That's our biggest problem here, rust. So in the house, we have a full water purification system for all our house water. But it's too costly to run that throughout the whole yard to water all the animals. Well, there might be a little bit of an adjustment that'll be required in a day or two, but I think we've got this one fixed now. Let's see what happens. Anyway, I'll bring you guys back a little bit later, see what else I can dig up for you. Hey Murphy, how you doing? You're asking how Mr. Big is. Well, there he is right there. That's Mr. Big. Mr. Big's mama, as a heifer, is not producing as great as I would like her to. Some of my black heifers, she's just a heifer, that red blaze there. Some of my black girls are doing a lot better. Like the calf coming up behind Mr. Big right now was born just a couple days before Mr. Big. And he's a bigger calf. And Mr. Big was a lot bigger than that one at birth. But some of these calves, if I can get it, see this little kind of brown colored sucker? See how the hair is rubbed off his neck? See if I can get in here closer, guys. Hey guys, come on, you little farts. Right there. See how the hair's rubbed off his neck right there? And I got a couple other ones that are similar to that, especially around their backside of their ears. And guys are gonna ask, what are you doing? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I'll show you what happens. So when I did these slabs up on these corrals a number of years back, and this is going back to, I don't know, 98, I believe we did all this corral work. But right through here, see how it's slabs are quite far from the ground, and like right there, there's a wider gap. Anyway, it's a little bit of a low spot, and I wanted my slabs nice and straight across the top, so that's why we did it this way. But the odd slab is broken at the bottom, so the freaking calves stick their head through here, and then they lift up and they're rubbing. They stick their head through at the bottom to nibble on that little bit of grass, and then they lift up and they get caught right here, just like a head gate. And they sit there and they rub and they rub and they rub until somebody finds them and comes and rescues them, or they figure out that, oh, we got to put our head back down to get out. I've had that happen a few times. So with these guys and with these calves in this corral. On an upper note, a couple days ago, the wife and I went through and we kicked all the cows out. Half the herd is out on grass, and all the cows that haven't calved yet, the last 7, they are out in the bush pasture also on grass. So these guys that are still in here now, basically the plan is 10 days time, they go to rented pasture. That's the plan for all of these ones, and all of these ones in this pen over here. So they'll be going to rental pasture. Sheriff has had access to a lot of these cows, but at this point we have only seen him jump 1 cow. All of these cows were estimated. It says 2 mils or 2 cc's per cow, but I don't know what happened. We only saw him jump 1 cow, and we never saw any other cows really come into heat at all. So unless they came into heat in the middle of the night, and he's a nighttime crawler maybe. And so there, see, that little calf can just get its nose in between, and he's nibbling at that little bit of green grass blade sticking through. But if there was a bigger gap there, he'd have his head stuck probably too. But anyways, so that's what's going on. I gotta go and load up this afternoon for my Saskatoon trip. So with that, I'm gonna leave you guys alone. Thumbs up, subscribe, let's get her done.